Alright, just a quick review of the Neptune dosing pump, which I've had 3 Neptune dose units. There's one of them hiding behind that jug back there. And I got them hung kind of sideways in here so they would fit in my cabinet next to my tank. They connect to alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, and alpha reef. But long and the short of it is, I think I've had them 4 years, and they are lights out reliable. They integrate wonderfully with Apex Fusion. They're accurate as heck. They're strong little pumps. I have one that runs a water change of 1.5 gallons every single night. Has never had a hitch in the giddy up. Once a year, I swap out the dosing heads on them just completely. I know they cost $35 a piece, but I just kind of buy them randomly throughout the year when I need to hit the $50 minimum for shipping on bulk reef supply. And then I just swap them out once a year and put new lines in so nothing gets clogged. And they just work. I take the approach of switching which of the 3 is doing the auto water change, because that is taxing the motors the most. So every year when I make that swap out of the heads, I also reconfigure them through Fusion so that a new one, I just put a little mark on the side of it, and a new one does my auto water change, which I think is critical because these things are not cheap. I think they're at least $330 on bulk reef supply right now, and I don't want new ones. I don't want to have to buy new ones ever. And I know I will eventually. Everything breaks someday, but I will really want to stretch the lifespan of them. But for the premium price of them, they're so lights out reliable. I absolutely have to recommend them. Here's the one caveat to these. And I don't know how Neptune didn't figure this out. It's so funny, some of the products, they put out such good stuff, but then there's these weird, quirky things. So the quirk with these is, they're ridiculously loud for what they are. And when I say ridiculously loud, I don't mean that every time it puts 5 milliliters of calcium into the tank, it's like brrr, and it doesn't buzz crazy, so it's ruining your experience watching a movie next to the tank or anything like that. But you can hear this brrr, just real quick, and it's quieter than that. It's muffled, especially because it's usually going to be inside of a cabinet. But my wife at first hated it. Now she's used to it. She doesn't even hear it, she says. But me, tuned into every little sound in my tank to make sure nothing's going wrong, I do hear it because I'm listening for it. At all times when I'm in my house, I'm listening for anything, any sound that emits from my reef tank area. So it's not annoying to me. If I didn't have a family, I would just have these things mounted on the wall. I'd have tons of equipment mounted all over the wall, buzzing away, beeping. I don't care about that. I'm a gearhead. But you guys should know. I mean, they do emit noise. And the most egregious noise emission that comes from these pumps, or from these dosers, is the auto water change noise. Which, if you're changing the max that it can auto water change in the course of an hour, which I believe, don't hold me to it, it's 1.3 gallons or 1.6 gallons or something. But if you're cranking these things at maximum and asking it to do a water change at that maximum speed over the course of an hour, I mean, it is clicking, buzzing like a little saw in there. That is actually objectively loud. So I have mine set, because my tank's in my main room of my house, because everybody likes to look at it. So I have mine set to complete a 1.5 gallon water change for 90 minutes from, I think, 5 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. And I wake up at 6:30 to get ready for work and get my kid up for school and all that. So the second my alarm goes off, it's done with that for the day, and I never heard a thing. And neither did my kid or anybody else, unless they happen to be up getting a drink of water in the dead of the night. And then who cares? So anyway, just understand that the noise emissions it stumps me. I don't know how they I mean, maybe they just wanted a better quality pump in these things, because the actual, or motor, I should say, because the actual motors are so good. Like, they're clearly super strong, super effective, super precise. And maybe they just said, okay, like, in the name of quality for this motor and longevity in this motor, we're going to go with the motor that emits a fair amount of sound. But that's the one drawback. I did so like the competitor to this, I guess, is the Ecotech Versa pump, dosing pump, and that is dead silent, but the ability to manipulate the software and schedule it and stuff like that, I covered it in my Versa review that I did in another video. I'm not going to link it here because I don't even know how to do that. I'm pretty simplistic about YouTube, but you can find it in my like gear explained playlist, or my product review playlist. It's like, you know, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, regarding like reliability and connectivity, and or then like noise. Like, you gotta, with what's on the market and high-end pumps, you kind of got to choose wisely from these American companies. I am an American, and I prefer to buy things that are, you know, created by and sold by, and or sold by American companies, even if they're made overseas. I'd rather the oversight of a group of people who designs these things and maintains them in America, and the customer service is in America. I'd much rather that, but you really got to watch the pros and cons. So yeah, I mean, if noise is a definite like consideration for you, even like slight noise, I would say then probably like probably drift toward the Versa, even with the connectivity issues, because these definitely do emit noise for sure. But they are great pumps. I'm not getting rid of them. No way. I've got the whole system down, and super happy with the setup. So, all right, folks, thanks for listening.